Hello, welcome back to It's New. Sorry for missing yesterday. Sorry for missing tomorrow. But we're back to a normal schedule next week. It's just Greg and I. Hey, Greg, thanks for being here.
You bet.
I'll be covering Sitelinks Search box going away. Fortune recommends being potentially penalized, and People's Insights giving unprofessional medical advice. What do you got, Greg?
I'm going to talk about some new travel ads and move over QVC. We're seeing some video ads within Google search.
Yada, yada, yada. All right, let's get into the Sitelinks search box going away. So Google announced a couple days ago, sorry for missing yesterday, that the 10-year-old Sitelinks search box, which I thought was kind of like when it first launched 10 years ago, would be like kind of dumb. But I actually ended up using it for mostly forum-related searches, like if I want to search on eBay or Reddit or other things where I don't want Google to force search results on me, but it's going away. Anyway, November 21st, Google is going to deprecate that feature. It's basically that little search box you see in the snippets when you mostly do navigational types of queries, like if you search for eBay or New York Times or stuff like that. It lets you do a site search within Google search. Google said it's going away because of lack of use and to make the search results, I think, a bit less cluttered, which is kind of a weird thing for Google to say. I mean, Google search results are getting more cluttered every day.
It's not like Bing, though. So we'll take that.
No,
Bing is
like
now
Bing.
just a smorgasbord of results.
Yes, even after removing like 4,000 features. Do you ever use the Sitelinks search box?
I do on occasion. I think it's typically I probably have more of a specific search to get me where I need to go. But I have in the past, like putting in a manual number or something like that. I wouldn't say use it a ton, but I do think it is helpful for people, especially on that like forum related side of things.
Yeah. So I guess the takeaway is if you did see you could get the data in the Google Search Console. And if you did see a lot of usage of that, well, first download the data before Google gets rid of it, because Google's going to get rid of it because it's no longer a feature. Two is if you did see a lot of usage of that, make sure when Google gets rid of that box that you have a nice on-site search box that people can actually access. So that's my takeaway from that. Talking about takeaways, you no longer could take away Fortune recommends sections from Google because it looks like Google's slapping it with some type of site reputation abuse something. There's no confirmation from Fortune. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a manual action. Doesn't mean it's some type of algorithmic penalty. But Glenn Gabe noticed a significant, I think as of this morning, 67% drop in visibility, search visibility in Google search for the Fortune recommends section. It's basically Fortune's like subfolder under fortune.com/recommends, where it has the product reviews arm of Fortune Media. Basically, researched, unbiased research reviews and so forth, where these publishers make a lot of money through affiliate links. And it looks like Google hit another one. Previously, Google hit Forbes Advisor, and I think also, what did Glenn say? He said AP News Byline. So it seems like Google's like systematically going after these types of like arms of websites where they try to monetize their sites a little bit more. I know, Greg, you're not a fan of this.
No, I'm a fan of Google doing what they said they're going to do with things. That's where I think, people are upset about the helpful content update and just make your content, blah, 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 blah. But then it's kind of like, oh, we have the site reputation abuse policy. And if you're trying to go out and rank for things that might not be created by your staff or necessarily germane to your content, then you're going to get penalized. And I don't think it's a good look when you don't do that. And, Forbes shouldn't be ranking number one for the best CBD gummy if they are about wealth and, the economy. Sorry.
Right. I do. Yeah, definitely. And also, I was going to ask Danny Sullivan, the search liaison, if this means that the site reputation abuse penalty is now algorithmic. But since Google didn't announce that it's algorithmic, I'm going to assume not, because I don't want to get a response back from Danny saying, as we said on this date, we are going to make sure to announce when it goes fully algorithmic. And Google did not say that, so I'm not going to ask.
Also, regardless of what Danny's response is to that, it's not algorithmic. Right? You see people complain and say, here's a case, look at what Forbes is doing. And then all of a sudden Forbes drops. Like, it's just not. So regardless of what they say, it's not. You heard it here first.
You heard it there first. All right. And then if you're looking for people's insights on medical advice, like if you go ahead and find this massive like thing coming out of your head, or if a pole gets stuck through your eyeball, and you go to Google to say, what do I do to remove a pole from my eyeball? You will get some good Reddit results. Can you imagine the Reddit results you'll get for that?
I just picture you trying to look at your screen through a poll, like, what's wrong with me?
Anyway, Google's now giving this new section called, it's being tested, People's Insights. Basically, it looks like it's like the old discussions and forums, but they're calling it People's Insights because it's kind of medical related, and then it has a little disclaimer at the bottom. This is for informational purposes only, for medical advice, diagnostics, or consult a professional. So that's a little good disclaimer. I think that's a useful thing. I like it better than it's just saying like giving like Reddit advice for how to remove a pole from your eyeball. But I don't know. What do you think?
And I think they kind of need to be honest with this, because they shy away from reviews now in AI overviews. And that's really what people like want these things for, is they want to see like why or what I should know about the product. And I think that's like one fatal flaw in an AI overviews, is they're trying to not have reviews, trying to not do this, but just like summarize stuff. People also want takes. They like takes on things, so they know what to buy. So I like, except for medical stuff, like, no, just take the pole out here, eyeball.
People love that's why TikTok's around, right? People love takes on like how to like solve every problem in the world. So I don't know. Anyway, if you're going traveling anywhere anytime soon, Greg?
I am not, but I saw an interesting test that makes me want to go to Back Bay, Boston. And this was over from your site, Search Engine Roundtable.com. And so for some of the travel ads, and I thought this was like very interesting the way they rolled this out. If you have a dynamic travel feed, the ads now are kind of like pull in more card-based items. And so with what this is only for travel advertisers, but the feeds will show up almost like a card. I guess that's the best way. There's two different versions, I would say, of this, where one was just looking at what you would see with your normal text ad. That's the old way. And then any site links and pricing. And the new one, you can kind of swipe through and see some different examples of the tours or traveling that you could take. I think this is good for travel advertisers. The one thing I thought was funny in the way they rolled it out, in one of the examples, they had a branded example for it. They made up a hotel called Hotel de Jour, and the old example was showing like a branded search. And that's, if you can get everybody on one side of things, which is impossible, it's everybody hates brand, and just showing this example with a branded example, I thought was hysterical, because it's like a huge issue, and pretty tough point that a lot of brands have to navigate, is spending money just to show up for their name. So I don't know, but should be good if you're travel advertisers. Got to get those feeds in shape. Also, speaking of feeds and ads, Barry, you had spotted over on, or I guess Sad AK had found it, but for shopping ads specifically, there is now a little black watch button that hovers, that is kind of like over a product. The example or Sad had found was for Thursday boots. And when you click on it, you get to watch like a video right there, talking about the boot specifically. I don't think there's a ton of information on this. I reached out to Ginny. The example they gave, it didn't seem like it was like a product specific feed. It was sort of just like a generic Thursday boot. So this could be something that could be like Performance Max added on, or it could be something that's like a video in the Merchant Center feed type of product of example. So really would like to see more. I think the one big takeaway from this, if this is PMax, this is something you need to be aware of, and you might actually not want to run PMax shopping feeds with assets, right? You can do it like a smart shopping flavor still, where you just don't put in headlines, descriptions, or videos or images, and it just runs sort of like shopping. Because if somebody's looking at these boots and you don't have video specific to it, it's just like a general wellness about your company, and you don't think it's going to help convert. That actually might take away from that like product specific vision that people have. So I had reached out and asked if advertisers are paid or have to pay on the click to the video, and we'll report back on that. If you have to pay for the click of the video, I hate it. If it's additional and you don't pay until you go off to the site, it's great.
Yeah, that was a good question. Wonder if we'll get a response soon enough. But anyway, I appreciate that. Just another heads up again, we are off. I'm offline Thursday and Friday. So anything you see from me will be pre-written and pre-scheduled. And we'll be back on Monday with It's New. I will have the weekly SEO video recap scheduled on Friday, and there will be the Marketing O'Clock video also scheduled, I think, late Thursday night, Friday morning. So
we got content for you, baby.
Content's out there. Helpful, hopefully. All right. Be well. Bye.